Everybody. Well, happy Thursday, and it was a really great day when we were doing our learning target on using our base 10 blocks with the meter stick and comparing our decimals and then using the correct symbol. So great job on that. We'll try to get those videos ready to go so that you can go back and review yourself. All right, tonight's numbers. We did even last night. Tonight we're doing odd on compare and order decimals. So let's take a look at number 1. I'm going to do one strategy, and that's to line up my decimals. So I can do it this way. I can also do it this way to take a look. So whichever way you see it's easiest. I have my 2 9s. Those are equal. I'm going to draw my lines. Okay, 3 is greater than 2, which means that 2 is less than 3. So I have a less sign. Let's move over to number 3. I'm going to line up my decimals again. And remember, always make that mark, because isn't it easier to go ahead and have it ready for you to look at than to guess? I agree. So this is equal to, well, bam, right here. We have 9 is greater than 4, and I'm going to take that right out. I have 9 greater than 4, and I'm going to use my greater sign. All right, let's look at number 5. Everybody with me so far? I have 3 and 61 hundredths, and I have 3 and 87 hundredths. And I'm going to line them up. Equal. We'll look at this. Let me circle. I have my inequalities. 8 is greater than 6, but I know so that 6 is less than 8, and it will take my less sign. Let's move over here because we're going to put these in numerical, and we're going to order these from greatest to least. So I'm going to get my video book here so that I keep all my notes. And then I'm going to list it again. So I'm going to take these numbers. Number 7, I have 7 and 81 hundredths, 7 and 81 thousandths, 7 and 81 hundredths, 7 and 2 thousandths, and 7 and 14 hundredths. So we have where these spaces are at. So here's what I've done. I have a space here, a space here. I'm going to put 0 as my hero. These are equal. I have my first difference in values here. So my inequality. So I have 8 and 1. 8 is greatest, so I'm going to put 1 here, and then this is 2, and then scratch those out because I no longer need them. I'm going to be done with those. These are equal. Oops, what I should have done is write those numbers down, right? So this is number 1. So I have 7 and 81 thousandths. No, I lied about that. I'm so sorry. I was trying to rush through and I got easily distracted. 7 and 8 and 81 hundredths is what I needed to say. So I have my 7 and my 81 hundredths. I actually went back to my paper to look at that. The next one that I needed to write is going to be 7 and 14 hundredths. Now let's get this right here and next time. Okay, so now I'm going to the next one. Again, if you wanted to use different colors to coordinate that, do so. So I'm going to highlight this one so that I can use my difference, my differentiating there. So this is where I'm at. 8 is greater than 0, so this is the next and then 4th. So I'm going to have 7. I'm going to write it down before I scratch that out. 81 thousandths, and then 7 and 2 thousandths. Alright, and now I can just cross a line through them instead of scratching. So let's take, I'm going to put my numbers over here. I'm going to move that up. And so I have 7 and 81 hundredths, 7 and 14 hundredths, 7 and 81 thousandths, and 7 and 2 thousandths. All right, we're going to do the same thing with number 9. These numbers can get a little confusing, so Be really careful. I know last night I was saying to go ahead and underline some of those, so that would make it easier. And see what happens when I don't do that. It makes it a little bit more complicated. I'm going to draw my line there. I have 4 hundredths. I have, there we go. I was just going to rewrite those. Let me go ahead and line them up. I have 4 hundredths. I have 5 tenths. The next number is right here, 21 thousandths. And the last one is 133 thousandths. You know, today I was listening to when y'all were building your decimals or creating your decimals with the base 10 blocks. Some of you were getting confused on how to say it, not creating it, but how to say it. Remember, when you have that full number, you'll say it as if the decimal doesn't exist. You have 133. Well, then that 3, whichever place value that's in, is going to identify how you're going to say it. So it's 133 thousandths, and that's where it stops. So I'm going to look. I have my zeros. Those are all equal. Circle the first one, that's the inequalities. I know that the 5 is greater than the 1, so this is coming first. I'm going to come down here and go ahead and write that. So I have 5 tenths. Now I can scratch that out. The next one is going to be 133 thousandths. I have that one scratched out. There's a difference, and now I'm going to get a different color and circle this so that I can see it. And actually, I didn't need to circle that part right there. So now I have the 4 and the 2. Well, the 4 is greater than 2, so that's the next one. So I'm going to write out the whole number 400. And then the last one is going to be 21 thousandths. Okay. It can get a little confusing. I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize that I did that. And that's what I did. Sorry about that, guys. I was more focused on the paper than looking over on my screen for the camera. Crazy. So if you can tell me what I did wrong and what I stopped you from showing tomorrow. So on this one here, on number 9, I kept it covered when I was doing it. Come in and say, hey, Miss Rowe, I saw that you had it covered so I couldn't see it. Come in and I'll get you a mint. So you'll get a treat. All right. But don't forget to tell me. And don't share it with your friends. Gotta tell me that you saw it. Don't tell your friends about it. Because then if you start doing it, then it kind of ruins those little secrets there. So I'm going to take this, and I have 5 tenths. And then I have 133 thousandths. Then I have 4 hundredths. And then the last one is going to be 21 thousandths. And so it's right here. Great. And there you go. Let's look at over here at number 11. Now, yesterday we were talking about, and even today we were talking about how you have to hide one of the numbers or one of the place values or the comparisons, decimal comparisons. So I'm right here, and I need to look at this. I'm going to look at my first sentence. So I'm going to cover this up. I have 5 and 345 thousandths is greater than 5 and 340 something. Okay, so this has to be less than, I'm looking at my thousandths, because the 5s are equal, the 3s are equal, the 5 in the thousandths place is greater, and then so what number can this be? Okay, so I'm thinking 4, so we'll just take 1 down. Now, if that's a 4, is this going to match, if I cover this up, does this make sense then? 5 and 344 thousandths, is that greater than 5 and 343 thousandths? And yes, it is. So that makes it a correct answer. And that seems to be the only one that can fit in there. So if you look at it, we have 5 and 343 thousandths, 5 and 344 thousandths. and 5 and 345 thousandths. So you could have looked at that and saying, wow, look at that. Let's look over here. We have 6 and 48 hundredths is going to be greater than 6 and what? So this is the tenths. This is the hundredths place value. So look at this. The 6 and 6 match. So those are equal. The 4 and 4 equals. So this has to be, if this number is going to be greater than this number, it can't go over the, which number? Yeah, you're right. Can't go over the 8. So what is the next number less than 8? Okay, so let's try 7 then. So that if you're saying that that's a true statement, that 6 and 471 thousandths is less than here, because that is right. If we flip it over, and I'm going to cover, so if you need sticky notes, I have some in the classroom, or you can get some. Ask your mom and dad to get you those really fancy ones. I have just the plain ones, so that's all I've got. All right, now look at this. Is 6 and 471 thousandths greater than 6 and 470? And that's a true answer. So your answer here is 7. Let's look at our story problem. And we're moving right along, and we're almost done. And congratulations to those that were really proactive in getting it done. Again, you didn't have to do it until tonight. So let's look at 15. In a jumping contest, Marcus jumped 1 and 200 meters. So Marcus, and I'm going to circle and my numbers and underline the unit of measure. And the unit of measure is meters. Gustavo jumped 1 and 2900 meters, circle, underline, and Lorena jumped 1 and 202,000 meters. So circle and underline. Who won the jumping contest? So remember, when you're jumping, so I'm going to draw this little line, and I have one person. So I have 1, 2, 3. This person jumped. Do they win? This person jumped. Do they win? And this person jumps. Do they win? So we're talking about jumping. Who won? So I'm going to put M for Marcus, and I'm going to write down his number. I'm going to put G, and I'm just going to call him Gus. And it's 1 and 29 hundredths. And then I'm going to put Lorena, L, and she jumped 1 and 202 thousandths. All right, let's take a look. All of these are equal. I'm going to circle the first. Okay, these are equal, which means that this is the smallest. So would Marcus come in first, second, or third place? So that would be Marcus. I'm going to put M here. So did he win the contest? No. So I'm going to draw that line there. Okay, so that eliminates Marcus. And do you see how we can draw to solve problems? That's another strategy. Drawing it out. We'll have lots of sketchers. That would be really great. Now let's look over here at Gus and Lorena. These are tied, so we can move on to the next place value. Circle the next one. Is 9 greater than 0? Yes. So which one would this be? Who would be second place? Yeah, this is going to be Lorena because she was the next one. So this is third place. This is second place. And then